She's in trouble. I swear before all things, I'ma lose it if I hear her preface her answers again by telling the world she was raised in a middle-class household. I'm getting tired of that.
Now he's being real.
Yes, I voted for her. And I'm unapologetic about it. Because we don't need somebody that divisive in the White House, because I believe it's gonna cause chaos in this country.
Divisive? Kamala Harris is calling Trump a fascist. She's suggesting his supporters are supporting a fascist. That's not divisive?
But the election is just a week away, people. There are things to discuss. Our lives, our livelihood. And you know I'm gonna get into all of that because I got a whole bunch of stuff to say with the nonsense I've been seeing going on. Oh yeah, there's a whole lot to say. Stephen A. Smith Show in the house.
This is one of the issues with Stephen A. is his ego, thinking he's so intellectual, so amazing, but we really know he's just falling in line with what he needs to say.
There's a reason you don't hear me uttering words like racist and all of this stuff out of my mouth when it comes to somebody like Donald Trump. I know how incendiary his comments can be. I know how irresponsible his rhetoric has been. I know how divisive he comes across. But when you're willing to label folks with name calling, with derogatory name calling, the supporters of that candidate are of the mindset you're talking about them, not him. It could be somebody you work with. It could be somebody you work for. It could be colleagues, contemporaries, bosses, friends, family members. They're not always going to tell you who they're voting for. They're not always going to tell you where their support lies. But you have to be mindful of the fact that you're not alienating the very people around you by talking about somebody in that way when you don't know whether or not they're a supporter of them. Now, in the case of Joe Biden, with his comments that he clarified was aimed towards the comedian who said it, when he spoke in pluralities. He said they as opposed to him. That he's the president of the United States and everybody's going to expect that you know the difference, regardless of the cognitive decline that they have been bloviating about over the last few months.
Bloviating? It's been obvious, Stephen A. It's been obvious. Watch how he tap dances to his leaders that he's got to fall in line with because he wants to represent the black community and keep getting along with Disney, ESPN, and getting the big contracts. He's a smart guy. He can see that there's been cognitive decline, but he still has to tap dance around it.
Regardless of the cognitive decline that they have been bloviating about over the last few months, they're going to assume it was intentional. And what have they been doing? Marco Rubio was at a Trump rally at Madison Square Garden. And what did he say? You just heard the president of the United States, Joe Biden, call us this, call us garbage. That's what he said about Trump supporters. Well, we're not. Blah, 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 blah.
He did.
That's what happens. And so as a result of that, the divisiveness kicks in. And when that kicks in, you play right into Trump's hands.
What?
Because it's us against them. And he doesn't have to talk about specifically what he has to offer this country. Oh, we're going to build a wall, a great big wall, and the Mexicans are going to pay for it. That didn't happen. We're going to have the best economy in the history. We had the best economy in the history of this country. Well, a lot of people have debated that to be otherwise. He never mentions the fact that the debt under him exceeded over $35 trillion.
Oh, but the economy is so great under Kamala Harris. The border's so great under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. What? He's just going to keep tap dancing and keep tap dancing like he needs to get his big contract at ESPN that he's negotiating for right now.
And it doubled the amount of debt that President Obama had accumulated under his administration. He didn't mention any of that. You know why? Because he doesn't have to. Because he's got everybody so focused on his behavior that they don't really lock in and zero in on the issues. And so when Kamala Harris is giving her speech last night, and she's talking about, hey, he's trying to divide us. I'm trying to bring us together. He's not willing to work with anybody. I'm willing to work with everybody. He's going to be about revenge and exacting vengeance and retribution. I'm going to be about us bringing people together. Those are very vague terms. Liberals will support it. Progressives will support it. Conservatives will be against it. What about the independents?
What about the independents? We know that what she really means. She switched her whole campaign from fake positivity, loving up to the minorities, to now just trying to degrade Trump because it's not connecting. That's really what's going on, Stephen A. And most people also see that what she's labeling Trump as, she actually is. But Stephen A. Tap Dance Smith over here, he's got to promote the progressive agenda.
What are they going to do? Ladies and gentlemen, we're 6 days away from the election at this moment in time that I'm taping this show. Do you know that it's nip and tuck? Do you know that when Trump won the election in 2016 by accumulating over 304 electoral college votes, did you know that he was down significantly more in the polls in the days leading up to the election prior to him winning? Do you know that in 2020, he was also down in the polls, even though he ultimately lost that election? He swears he won. The point is, it being nip and tuck right now between him and Kamala Harris is a bad sign for Kamala Harris. Somebody's got to say it, so I'm going to say it.
Yeah, because we don't trust the polls, because part of the polling last time in 2016 was to discourage us from going to vote. That's what a lot of us think.
She's in trouble. Now, you saw me there with
Why?
the tag on my chest. I voted. Yes, I voted for her. And I'm unapologetic about it. Because we don't need somebody that divisive in the White House, because I believe it's going to cause chaos in this country. But
Divisive? Kamala Harris is calling Trump a fascist. She's suggesting his supporters are supporting a fascist. That's not divisive?
other people don't care about the chaos. They care about their wallet, or they care about reproductive rights, or they care about the border and immigration laws and reform. They care about those kind of things. They don't care about that. The fact that this race is tight, that they're speculating that she's in danger of losing Pennsylvania, which, by the way, is a case as to why she should have picked Governor Josh Shapiro as opposed to Tim Walz from Minnesota. These are all things to be worried about. This is not a guarantee. You got to get to the polls. And oh, by the way, you got to hope, if you're hoping for her to win, that the Democrats have played their cards right and they focus on what it takes to win the Electoral College vote and not concern themselves with the popular vote. Because remember, Hillary Rodham Clinton won more votes against Trump by 2,868,000 votes. And she still lost because she didn't win the Electoral College votes. 53% of that base, by the way, is women. 53% of the electorate for Electoral College voting are women.
Okay.
So if they all show up to the polls, Kamala Harris should win. Because she get them.
What? You think that many women are just going to vote for her because she's a woman? Nah, Stephen A. Keep the lie going.
Kamala Harris should win. Because she get them to the polls. Can you pull it off? You think she's done that? Has her case been made in order to do that?
Nope.
To inspire and galvanize people to go to the polls?
Nope.
That remains to be seen. These speeches are nice.
What?
Some have been very good. I thought last night's speech was very good.
He thought this speech was really good, where she was just blasting Trump and saying everything that she is, Trump is. It was a really bad speech. And there was sirens going off. I have a video on that. I should link it in the cards up there if you want to watch it. It's bad.
But the White House is the backdrop.
And Joe Biden didn't even come out to support her in the rally outside the White House because they can't trust him because he's out of his mind. That's how bad it was.
Speech was very good. With the White House as the backdrop.
Very good.
I thought she performed well during the debate against Donald Trump,
She actually did.
face to face. I thought some speeches she's given at these rallies, and certainly her speech at the Democratic National Convention, was impressive. But when she's been interviewed by folks who know politics, and this is their lane, and they're asking her about the issues, I swear before all things, I'ma lose it if I hear her preface her answers again by telling the world she was raised in a middle-class household.
Now he's
I'm
being
getting
real.
tired of that.
Now he's being real.
Because I don't think it's gonna work.
Because it's
If I
stupid.
thought it would work, I'd like it. I don't think that's going to work. Just a little nugget of information, particularly when you're speaking to the minority portion of the population. Middle class is closer to upper class than it is to lower class. And a lot of times people don't think your level of relatability is elevated when you say middle class. Her team telling her to say middle class, middle class, middle class, especially when you're preferencing every answer with that, may not work.
May not.
I'm only saying all of this to say,
Why?
ladies and gentlemen, I voted for her. I want her to win.
No surprise.
I'm critiquing because I want her to win, not because I want her to lose.
Idiot.
You got 6 days to convince the voters. It ain't over. It's nip and tuck. It could go either way.
True.
You've been saying that for months. It goes either way. Try something to swing for the fences. Something a little bit different. Change it up a little bit. You got 6 days to do it, even though folks are voting early, like myself. You got 6 days to do it. That's what I got to say about that.
Well, what she's changed to, trying to do, is just attack Trump, because her campaign is not connecting with people. It's just amazing to see someone as intelligent as Stephen A. be so stupid and so blind and tap dance and do what he's got to do, follow little orders to tell the black community why she's so great, when if you just listen to any of her interviews, especially with some of the black community podcasts she's done, it's atrocious, and people in the comments are going at her because they see through it. But obviously Stephen A. Smith can't see through it. Good job on taking orders, Stephen A. Our respect for you has gone even farther down. It's itsSeanDaniel here. If you guys enjoyed the videos, consider subscribing, or watch another one right here, and make sure you go vote.